Let's be honest, a lot of lenders are desperate right now. It's been a pretty slow year and a half, almost 2 years. So I'm not saying everyone in the industry is predatory, but they may not even understand it to the extent to even give you the proper advice. So
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Broch Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth. Welcome back to another episode of Loans Elevated. What a crazy week this week. But before we get into economic news and what's going on, I want to introduce our guest star today. We got Ryan King.
Back. It's been a while.
Back in the flesh.
I think last time we did this was, November last year?
Yeah, yeah, it was, for real.
Long time.
I think it was like November 6th or something like that, if my memory serves me well.
Yep.
But anyways, if you don't know Ryan, he is a loan officer on our team, follows the exact same process we do. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him as well. We will link all of his information in the description. But we had crazy news week this week.
Oh, yeah.
Fed meeting. Dive into what the Fed said and what that's been doing for rates so far.
The biggest thing is I think there was called their dot plot or plot map or whatever it was for the following year, and they basically highlight what portions of the year during their meetings that they're anticipating Fed rate cuts, which is the first time that we've even seen them change their demeanor, because just a couple months ago they were stating that basically with how hot things continue to be, that they're going to need to keep rates elevated for longer than we thought.
Right. And
they even were estimating all of 2024. So there's definitely been a huge demeanor change that came out of nowhere, which I think signifies that maybe there's something behind the scenes that they're starting to finally realize that, they might have taken it too far for too long, and they might be needing to reverse course faster than they thought.
Right. Well, one key point you made there too is this is forward-looking. They didn't actually change the Fed funds rate. In fact, they left the Fed funds rate the same. It did not go down. It did not go up.
Right.
What the markets and interest rates have reacted on is the market is always forward-looking. Because they said they're going to look to cut rates next year, the markets reacted in our favor, and rates have come down since then. You said there's been a complete demeanor change, and that's why rates have come down so heavily in the past week. I mean, in the past week, we've seen rates come down over 1 full percent.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's been so hard to anticipate because I swear all year it's been, we've gotten even to the point where it's like we're expecting bad news.
Right, exactly.
We're just, at this point, we've been expecting bad news. So it's crazy that they caught us off guard and finally started to acknowledge the data that we've been looking at all year, where it just wasn't adding up. It just seemed like there was too much manipulation going on, and maybe there was an ultimate agenda that they were trying to accomplish that they weren't sharing with the public, because their actions are important, but it's really more their remarks with their meetings and what they're releasing to the public. That's what affects the markets more than their actual actions.
Most definitely. Well, and it's crazy. The result of this, it's spread like wildfire, the word of rates coming down.
Right.
I'm getting messages, texts, DMs, calls from my clients from the past year, or even people that have bought elsewhere on, hey, should I refinance right now? Do I pull the trigger right now? What do I do? Because everyone wants to save money where they can. But you've got to be aware of the potential savings. I call it catching the falling knife.
Right.
You don't want to refinance too soon, because if you do, then you could lose out on a bunch of savings. Now,
or pay more than you should.
Exactly. I've seen lenders out there quoting already refinances where they're buying down points and costing thousands of dollars to refinance, which makes no sense if you're going to be paying for this refinance and then
6 months later you can get that for free. I mean,
doing it again.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And most clients really don't understand all the fees and costs that go into it. So it's very easy to fall victim. And let's be honest, a lot of lenders are desperate right now. It's been a pretty slow year and a half, almost 2 years. So I'm not saying everyone in the industry is predatory, but they may not even understand it to the extent to even give you the proper advice. So it's definitely
huge.
Time to be cautious, but it is good that we've seen the what seems like to be the reversal. And we mentioned maybe we're not out of the woods yet, but I think we're close, and it's
right. There could be some economic news that maybe pushes us the other way, and rates could go back up.
100%.
You never know, But I'm not saying not to refinance. What I'm saying is talk with us if you have questions, if it's worth it to refinance, because how we could structure this. And by the way, if you purchased with us in the past year and a half, you also get a free refinance for up to 3 years where we pay all of your lender fees. Now, what you also have to consider is maybe we can structure your loan where you are getting a no-cost refinance. We can cover all of your closing costs with where your rates sit and still lower your interest rate.
Right.
And maybe you can take advantage of that right now and again in the future as rates continue to go down. So it may make sense for you. If you are thinking about refinancing or want to see how you can save some money, reach out to us. We can look at your situation, what your current rate looks like. If you need to pull equity out, it still might make sense. I'm helping a client right now that actually their rate is going up by almost a full %. But because rates have been coming down and they're paying off some debts, it still makes sense for them. They're actually still, their net out of pocket every month is still in their favor.
Yeah, and I just think that's another testament to our process and how it's not, the mortgage industry is not a one-size-fit-all. It's not, we call it McDonald's mortgage, right?
Yep.
It's not just, this person's going to get the same as the other. Everyone's situation is going to be different. And I think that's what we're pleading here is, it might make sense for you, definitely as rates are coming down, but make sure you're actually chatting with us and going through your consultation so we can analyze whether or not it's going to be worth it or if you're going to be wasting money right now. That way we could at least tell you on what you can anticipate going forward, give you maybe a timeline to pick things up and keep a closer eye on it for you if it doesn't make sense right now.
Exactly. What I'm doing right now with a lot of clients that have already reached out and about a potential refinance is we've got their loan started and just dotting all the I's, crossing the T's, and we've come up with a game plan of exactly when rates need to hit a certain point. That's when we'll pull the trigger. So we've already got them into underwriting, but as soon as rates hit that point, we're going to lock them in and secure the savings and then go from there, which it might take 2 weeks. It might take 3 months. We don't know, but at least we're prepared and ready to rock and roll.
Because there's no deadlines on a refinance, right?
Correct.
It's not like we're dealing with a contract on a purchase. So we can get everything ready. And then as soon as it makes sense, like you said, TJ, just pull the trigger at that point, lock you in.
And it'd be a matter of updating a few documents to make sure income and income and assets still look the same. And as well, the only thing we need to watch out for is an appraisal.
Yes.
The appraisal is good for 120 days on average, which is plenty of time. Or we can delay that appraisal until rates get to the certain point that you want it to be at. So if you have questions about saving money with a refinance or what the market's doing right now, drop any questions in the comments below or feel free to message us, call us. We'd love to help out wherever we can.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.